good. I just had to get that in. All right, and I will do the demonstration, and then when the people...
Okay, we're having a demonstration now on making jungle logs. Carolyn, did you make sure that if anybody...
Let's see, what happened
You might be.
Tell us what it is. Okay, so here's what we're doing. By the way, I will collect money from people that haven't given any to me while we're around, but I'll get the demonstration done so we can kind of get started. And woo.
So this is the Alaflor, right?
Right. What I'm doing is mixing Alaflor with refined or milled sphagnum moss, and they're both actually fairly inexpensive for filling, and it works very well inside the jungle logs. There's a variety of things that you can use on here. You can use the sphagnum that is not cut up like this, but I decided to go with thanks, you can just put that down or hang it somewhere so I can get back to it again. It's great if you like to make mud puddles, we got it. And you want to get this pretty wet because you want all of it to stay together. Now, do you want to sit here?
No, there's gloves in the back.
Yeah, there are gloves.
Yeah, but I just got a manicure, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've got nitrile gloves. What I did ahead of time was two things. First of all, where's my demo cup?
This one here is
Is that the demo? Yes, it is.
Demo.
Okay. What I did is I cut this it's PVC coated hardware cloth, and I cut it to fit the particular sizes of flower pots. This one is a small flower pot, obviously. They're tiny, but it makes a jungle log that looks about like that. It's cute. It's a good size for a lot of my smaller species plants. So that's why I made that. The majority of these are like this size, and that's about like that. Okay, that's the medium, what I call medium. And then there's some large ones. The E-pots are a bit larger. And what I did...
How many inches are they? Are they 3-inch pots?
No, it's a variety.
No, the E one.
Oh, the E one? I think the E one's about a 4-inch. And these are two different loads of 3.5-inch pots, but they're a slight bit different. So whenever you get pots, just make sure that you are measuring enough to go around. And one of the things that I noticed on the information that we got is he said get a 3-inch pot and then cut 8 to 10 inches of wire, but that doesn't go around. Remember, you got to use that old pi. D times pi. So whatever the diameter of the pot is, you need to go at least D times pi. And I would add about at least 1 inch to that. It's so even better so that it wraps all the way around. Now, what I do is they're very easy. I can clip these later so that they don't show very much. But basically the first step is to clip them together so that they make a cylinder. I don't overlap even.
Oh, it meets,
okay. I just have it meet. You could overlap it if you want, but that just means more wire, and you know, I kind of like saving whatever I can. So.
And it will ruin your manicure, yes.
Yes, it does. It dulls it at the very least. Oh, come on. My hands are wet and dirty, and so they're not. But I swear I did not have any wine or beer. So it's not, come on.
That's your mistake.
That was my mistake. I am going to just kind of put a little bit of slack in it. Yeah. This is why I'm using this one as a demo, because I miscut it. So the rest of them I think are okay. All right. All right, the next part is getting the bottom on, and I cut little chunks out of the corners so that they didn't stick out too far. And it's really fairly simple. And you do, if you want to, you can, when you get yours, you can kind of straighten them out a little bit, flatten them out. It's just,
Okay, so
all
it's
right,
just sitting
so
on
one
top
thing
of
is
there.
just sitting on there and you strap it on. In, again, about 4 places. I strap it on in
Those are
the
like
cardinal
little computer
directions.
ties? Is that-
They're electrical ties, yes. They're 4-inch cable ties. Fairly inexpensive because you're not exactly getting a huge size.
I think my house is that. Well, this is
Sure, they all are.
So I live
Hon,
in a chicken coop.
Terry, can you get me a pair of scissors? Thank you.
You have an assistant like in a circus
Well,
with a tutu.
yeah, yeah.
So if you were doing a lot of these, you'd probably want to build it in stages. You want to build those first and get all the things you need that you just quickly
Yeah, if you're gonna do,
Right.
instead of trying to just
Right, thank you. Now, and I want to thank Mark and Carol who provided some of this moss for us.
Thank you, Carol.
As a donation.
I don't know if I can either.
Are those alive moths?
Yeah, they will
yeah.
look a lot more.
And I did a little different variation. Instead of using the chicken wire, I used filled with moss. And these are little net pots you can get in any hydroponic store. Tied them together with fishing line. I was in New York and I went to Walmart and I found this little ceramic clay pot that didn't have a hole in the bottom. But I think it was part of something else, but it had a barcode on it. So I'm like, we're going through the register. If it goes through the register, this pot's mine. I'm bringing it back to Vegas to make this. And it just happened to fit in there. So if you don't want to do the chicken wire thing, and these net pots come up to 6 inches across. You can make huge
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
I just didn't cover the outside yet.
Potme.com sells.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
But any hydroponic store in town,
Oh,
even
yeah,
some of them,
you
they're
can-
going to do that too when I get home.
Probably be good for certain plants that like to be soaking.
Yeah,
Well,
like
and-
Stanhopias would be fine.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought too was, plants,
Yeah,
the
but
orchids
Stan
like
Hope is
being
still
on
bottom.
a large surface, make it more of a round, more frisbee type shape instead. So I thought that might work. Okay, the next part. Let me show you this stuff because I used to use
are called
all the
ceramics.
time this
Yeah, that's
fishing line,
Yeah, it's called
which is
Alaflora.
wonderful.
There's other names for it. though.
But it doesn't hold knots very well, and I found out I was having trouble keeping the knots closed. So instead, this was what was recommended
Oh, yeah.
by our cute
Jason?
by Jason, by our cute guy.
We don't call
So-
it cute.
Not helpful.
Anyway,
His wife doesn't like it.
it's braided and it holds knots much better. And as a matter of fact, I've been using it in a whole lot of stuff, including my weaving, and not weaving it, but using it.
What is it called?
It's called braided. Well, and this one is 40 pounds, so it can hold 40 pounds worth of weight.
Braided what?
It's braided fishing line.
Oh, it is fishing line still.
And it's still fishing line, but it's braided and it's really strong
And you can hang on
as,
to it, too. That's why it
as
doesn't slip
steel.
off.
It's just really, really
Can
strong.
you show me the cover of it? What it looks like, the label? Just get a picture of it.
It's got a shark on it.
And you got that where?
Yeah.
Online.
show that to
I wasn't gonna try and search for it.
Any fishing place probably.
So yeah, you could probably get it at any
outdoor
fishing
places.
store.
Yeah.
Now, if you are good at threading things, I actually wound up using a needle, a darning needle, to do some of this. But
Or
if
a
you
rug
are,
needle,
yeah,
that's got a round
right.
carpet.
Right.
Carpet.
Oh, okay.
So you're just threading it in and out, and I thread it up through the wire and across to keep it. I'm just stabilizing it. Okay, and then you can wrap it a little bit and bring it back up again.
So do some weaving.
Yeah, you're not so much weaving as just sewing. I mean,
Oh,
you're
okay.
sewing it on. This is the hardest part because what you're doing is you're coating the whole outside with this stuff, and it doesn't have to be perfect,
Yeah.
but
Just secure.
They come in sheets though.
yeah, this was yours, and it's not as sheeted as what I have in the box back there. But I thought It's not a sheet.
It's just sheet.
So again, we can wait and wrap the whole thing, and then kind of,
Yeah.
keep wrapping the stuff around.
Right, so-
Or in this case, because I've got limited space and stuff, I'm just gonna kind of do what I can to.
My husband put in these small piles.
Yeah, it was just driving me crazy. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna tie it. Yep.
So you're threading that through all the wire, you're not just wrapping.
Right, I'm threading it through the wire. If I wanted to do the whole thing all the way around, I could just wrap. But since this one I'm kind of doing in sections, because this isn't really sheet moss, but I'm doing it in sections, so I'm kind of trying to keep it from.
This is like a two-person project.
Well, yes and no. I did it on my own last time, but because this isn't the sheet moss, it's a little bit more difficult. Yeah.
I have no very tall hands.
Yeah, just put on some news or some music and you're good to go.
Exactly. All right, and now I can put some more on, another layer.
So if you only have a few orchids in your collection, this would be a good way to
You want to put more layer on this side?
Yep.
So, why don't you can you just go, Diana, can you just go
I
like,
can,
Yeah.
yeah. If I get the
totally-
rest of,
yeah, like that.
yeah.
Keep rolling it along perhaps, like that.
Because what we need to do is, this stuff keeps the stuff that we put inside on.
Oh, inside.
Right, the stuff we put inside. Okay,
another one.
so,
Could you use something other than moss?
There you go.
yeah. Okay, we're gonna stop.
Okay, all
We're
right.
gonna stop all the way around this. Then you fill about, well, let's see. Here's my demo one. I need to know about where to fill it to, and actually this hole will be handy because I need to fill it to the bottom of the pot.
Wait, yeah.
And the pots, I glued in a, actually it's one of those decorative pieces of glass that you buy, buy at Michael's. And I just glued it in so that it covered the hole entirely, and I did put a lot of glue on it. I didn't want to have you guys take these home and have it, leaking on us.
What kind of glue did you use?
For the most part, I used Gorilla Glue. Fairly inexpensive, it's a good one to use. And then when that part dried, I put a ring around the top of one part and put another pot on top. The top.
It's empty.
So it's empty and there's only one hole in it, and that's at the very top. Okay? So you want to put the closed end down, and if you want to, you can, if you've got enough room, you can just fill up all the way around with this stuff. If not, you can fill it with other kinds of moss. And
Okay, so you could do sphagnum or whatever.
yeah.
You had pot today. This is the pot.
This is the pot I was talking about, yes.
I thought she was cutting edge.
She does have a greenhouse, you know.
Yes, I do.
All right.
What do I have in
Come on,
there?
Diana. Come on. Don't hold
He said
on.
was not to use sphagnum because it breaks down and gets very acidic within a year.
Oh,
That's why we got this other moss, because this moss
It's more
doesn't break
natural.
down and get acidic like the sphagnum moss is.
Yeah,
Yeah, he said that's
This is
you know,
called,
So we should,
this is not this, yeah, but that's
There's
how
three
much-
kinds of mosses you can use. This is called feather moss because it produces those little like feathers. There's something called sheet moss, but they all come from moss.com. They grow in Oregon, all these mosses.
I'm just going to leave this for right now, as is.
Are those expensive per bag?
a huge box.
You have to buy a whole
was
box.
$60.
Of that.
Like a carton about this
17
big.
square feet.
Well, it's
And how
that
much
box
is it?
right
Oh,
there.
and how much
that
is it,
was
Diana?
About $60, I think,
it's
yeah.
17 square feet.
Yeah.
I use it in my planters, to be pretty.
And you can buy it live or you can buy it.
As high as you want. You really don't want to put anything over the top of the pot,
Oh, you
unless
wanna
you
expose.
unless you want some sort of hatch that you can go in and fill it with water. Because remember what you're doing. Remember this is going to be solid all the way around, so nothing's going to come through it. But you're going to be filling this pot with water in the hole. And that's what fills it with water. The water is going to last, it's just different depending on what your temperature is. But I have also found that the bottom part is a bit wetter than the top part. That's not a really big problem though, because when you mount most orchids, you're mounting them down towards the bottom part.
I got you.
Okay, so it's not that big of a deal. For example, this one that's finished, it stays wet. In the winter, I only water about once or twice a week, and in that situation, I would make sure there's water in here, because this pleurothallus needs to stay more moist. You know, during the winter, cattleyas like to totally dry out. You know, so do oncidiums and a lot of other plants. But this one doesn't like to totally dry out. So during the winter, it gives me this will give me a little bit more of a chance to keep it more moist. And I don't want to water all the rest of the plants and get them rotted. So it'll be a good way to have more moisture available at all times for this one.
This one's been hanging in my kitchen now for about a week and a half, and I've done nothing but water the top.
Yeah,
And it stays moist enough all the way around that I would not miss it, I wouldn't do anything else.
yeah.
I failed my class. What did I fail? I've never failed anything. Don't tell me that. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Carolyn or Caroline? Caroline.
I called my sister-in-law. I spelled her name Lynn. How many 4 feet did you say?
I'd take at least 4 yards.
My
I'd
sis-
take 4 yards.
On, and now I
See there? Looks like a mustache.
you know, just whatever way.
Whatever this is.